What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another one of my Rouslin's 3-ball betting video, where I give you a little bit of quick information about the tournament. Then I go right into some bets, some week-long bets, some round one bets. Round one bets I've actually been doing the best at, so maybe that's where we should be focusing our time. And a couple of other things to make it a full-on video here. It's a fun one. I think it's a good one. It's a little bit of a different material than what I typically give out each week, or during the week, I should say. Especially with having such a DFS focus, I like to look and see where the information or the research that I have for DFS can be applied to other places, and certainly it applies. So let's go ahead and jump right into my slideshow here. It is the Zozo Championship this week in Malibu, I'll say California. I think it's Thousand Oaks is the real thing. But anyways, Sherwood Country Club is where we're playing, a par 72, 7,100 yards. The interesting feature about it, 5 par 5s, 5 par 3s, 8 par 4s. If you're keeping score at home, that's 18. Most of the world's best are here to compete, except for the world's best, number one golfer in the world, Dustin Johnson, sitting out his second straight week due to COVID. Also not here, Brooks Koepka, a couple of other names as well. But we get a couple of new names in the field that did not play at Shadow Creek last week, including Patrick Reed, Webb Simpson, and the alike. So plenty of good golfers still in here. DraftKings this week, we're playing for $100,000 on a couple of different contests. $50,000 for the $200, which is the first time they've done that in a couple of weeks. And on FanDuel, because of Tiger Woods back, looks like they upped their GPP to $30K to first place. Not too bad. Pretty good for a what we'd call an off-season event or during football event. Love to see these $100K prize pools still going on during football. You love that. Okay, withdrawals in COVID-19 this week. There's only one withdrawal as of right now, and I'm recording this at 1:39 on Wednesday, so hopefully we're not going to get any more after this. Goodness gracious, that would be terrible. Dustin Johnson is the withdrawal this week. They did print him in the field. I don't know why. They were waiting until 4:30, 5 o'clock to post the salaries this week. I thought it was for the sure fact of seeing if Dustin Johnson was going to play. Then all of a sudden, they put the salaries out. Not 5 minutes later, Dustin Johnson has to withdraw, and they printed him in the field. It sucks. It is what it is. What are you going to do? But we will move on from it. All right, now let's get into the bets. So, maybe a couple of no-picture guys this week, but this is the edge that I found. So, Kevin Streelman, he's plus 100 against Lanto Griffin this week. And while Lanto Griffin, nice week last week at Shadow Creek, came in 7th, had a bad Sunday, Kevin Streelman came in 21st, so it's not like he had a bad week by any stretch. He's plus 100. The model rank has him ranked above Lanto, 50th to 59. So I found a little bit of an opportunity here. I think there's a little bit of an edge there, especially with Streelman getting a plus 100 there. Of course, as I always do each and every week, last week I got swallowed by Matthew Fitzpatrick. I thought Paul Casey would have a bounce-back week and Matt Fitzpatrick would tail off, but it was the exact opposite. I think Fitzpatrick ended up beating Casey by like 16 shots, something like that. So I wasn't even close on that one. Still 12, 9, and 1 for the year. Still showing a little bit of a positive gain there, so not bad. Okay, we'll move on to my week-long bets, and this is 2 weeks in a row where I've been blanked. It's just unlike me in this, as I've had 27 plays, and of those 27 plays, I've found 7 top 20s, 5 top 10s, and 3 top 5s. So the results have been pretty good, but recently, I think I might even be 0 for my last 6, for sure, last week and this week. 2 weeks in a row, sorry. But 3 weeks ago, I think I got 1, so maybe I'm like 1 for my last 9. To be even here, with some of these bets, depending on what I hit. Of course, if I hit a top 10, likely the way I'm betting, that's likely going to cover all of them, especially even this week. For example, like Victor Hovland is my lowest guy that I bet on. If I hit a top 10 on him, it would pay for the other bets that I do, given the payout of 3-1. But this week, let's jump in. Ryan Palmer, he has been playing really consistently and had one bad round last week, had a nice bounce back on Sunday. I got him coming in 100-1 to win, 14-1 for a top 5, 7-1 for a top 10, and 3.5-1 for a top 20. And these are the 2 events that he's competed at over in Asia. Now, granted, these are different golf tournaments, but maybe it's something about the time of year when he's peaking in his game. So look for Ryan Palmer as the longest odds that I'm playing at this week. Now, of course, for DraftKings purposes, this is where it's different down here. There's guys like Cameron Champ and Jordan Spieth, who I'm definitely interested in because they can rack up DraftKings points like crazy. But they make a lot of bogeys as well, which hurts their finishing position, so silly to bet on them. If you watch the PGA DFS First Look show with Jeff Ulrich and I this week, we talked about Paul Casey and how his number just kept creeping and creeping. I'm going to see if I can jump on it. 71.70 to 1 to win, 12 to 1 top 5, 5 to 1 top 10, and 2.5 to 1 for the top 20. In his 2 starts here, way back in 2011 and 10, came in 3rd both times, so obviously the course is somewhat familiar to him. We also know that up the street a couple of hours, he had a good start at Pebble Beach. So maybe just California mixes right with Paul Casey's juices, so I got him this week. And lastly, Viktor Hovland. He is working on 4 straight top 15s. Just can't put together the short game, but when he does, he'll be in the top 5 very quickly. 33 to 1 for him to win, 6 to 1 for a top 5, 3 to 1 for a top 10, and plus 150 for the top 20 for Viktor Hovland this week. I think that's a very good value bet at this point. Just to give a little more quick tidbit on it, I mean, he's been playing. His ball striking has been great, and his short game has been pretty terrible lately, and he's still placing. So you got to love that bet, the top 20. That's probably one of my favorite value bets on the board. Okay, now I head round 1 bets and showdown focus to end up this video here, the 3-ball betting video. We've got Sung J M. He's plus 105 against Jason Kokrak, last week's winner. I'm going to take that every time, especially for Kokrak, who was his first PGA Tour victory. It's not like, he's a perennial winner here. It was the first time he's won on a course that he obviously knew very well, more so than all the other golfers. So I got him maybe tailing off a little bit this week, enjoying a little bit of Vegas. Maybe did he on his route here to Malibu. So I got Sung Jae on plus 105 in a no-tie situation against Jason Kokrak. I've got Corey Connors, pictureless Corey Connors here. He's plus 165 versus Tony Finau, and I'm taking the stance that while I think Finau is playing great, and I think that I'd take Finau most every time over Corey Connors in this situation, but for being the first round since coming back from COVID, maybe there's some rust there for him to work off of. And Corey Connors, he's actually scored well. He's in that kind of same ballpark, not as good as Spieth and Champ in terms of DraftKings scoring, which means his game is relatively close. So at plus 165, Tony Finau coming back from COVID, I like that area. Okay, now for my round 1 showdown focus plays, which they're offering $10K to first place, which is the biggest round 1 prize pool we've seen in quite some time. Typically, they're just offering $5K to first. But I'm going to stick with those 2 guys that I just mentioned quite a bit in this. Jordan Spieth, 7,300, and Cam Champ, 7,100. 2 guys that we know are scoring, but are getting hurt by their position points. For example, Spieth coming in 13th last week in DK scoring, coming in 38th in the tournament. Cam Champ was something similar. Came in like 21st in DraftKings scoring and like outside of, I think, 42nd, if I'm not mistaken, in the tournament. So both those guys certainly outscoring their finishing points. So what do? We remove finishing points, throw them in showdown, and hope we hit on the round that they end up having the 6 birdies and an eagle or something like that. So like those guys a lot for my round 1 showdown focus this week. No 3-ball. I've just found that the edge is not big enough there. It's a little too variable. My record was like 6-16-3, and that's just not good enough. I don't want to be recommending things and having people lose money on it. So definitely need to I'll find something else in this section. Maybe my top outright bets that I didn't mention, something like that I'll add in for the upcoming weeks. And of course, maybe if there's something that you would like to see. If there's a segment of bets that you've seen and you like to look at, let me know and I'll be glad to give you my opinions on it and throw it in this video. So if you are looking to get in contact with me, of course, too, you can find me on Twitter at DFSGolfer23. Of course, you can see it there in this little bottom left of your screen. I think it's bottom left, at least the way I'm looking at it, it's bottom left. Or you can find me in the internal Slack if you're an Awesemo Plus member. Of course, we give plenty of premium content away. And if you're looking for more free content, however, Ben, Raza, and I are going to be on the Live Before Lock show. And now maybe it's not quite a Live Before Lock, as Lock is scheduled for somewhere around noon 30, noon 45 tomorrow, because it's out on the West Coast. Typically, though, when we're in season and it's on the East Coast for the tournament, I mean, Lock is at 6:30 a.m. most of the time, maybe even 7 o'clock some of those times. So with that being said, typically our 8:30 show is an actual Live Before Lock. But in any case, come join us, 8:30 tonight. Ben Raz and I, we're going to be breaking it all down. We're going to break down any withdrawals that have happened, like Dustin Johnson's, any weather that we're supposed to get, and also some of the Tiger Woods comments that we had this week, a little earlier on his expectation for the week. So until then, everybody, thank you for joining my Rouslin's 3-ball video. Hopefully, let's win some money on it this week, and good luck. We will see you on the other side. Cheers.